This episode is sponsored by Blue Ocean Global Technology. Hi, I'm Laura Virili, and I inspire advisors to kill it online through social media and offline through relationship management. You've heard me say we live in a noisy world, and we do. How do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the advisors out there basically doing the same thing as you and saying the same thing as you? Well, today I'm joined by Deborah Asseraf of Popcorn Productions. She's going to help you cut through that noise and really differentiate yourself through innovative client experience gifts. She personalizes them in a way that will blow your hair back. Deborah Asseraf is founder and CEO of Popcorn Productions, a full implementation customer experience and retention company working with trusted advisors and B2B companies who understand the power of strong customer retention and referrals. After working for 3 years at ABC Television coordinating large-scale galas and concerts, Deborah decided she had her fill of cookie-cutter events and started Popcorn Productions in 2012. Popcorn designs fully customized gift boxes that are shipped on demand, tracked, and allow recipients to refer or share with just one click. Deborah also writes her blog, Social Pulse, where she gives business owners tips for how to keep customers engaged. Deborah, it's so great to have you.
It's so good to be here, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell me about what inspired you to start Popcorn Productions. I know you spent some time at ABC, but what really was the impetus for you to start Popcorn Productions?
It's a great question. I was at ABC for about 3 and some odd years, and I was putting together these special events that were then aired as specials on ABC and ESPN. And, those events were incredibly experiential. They had a lot of glit and glamour to them. They were large projects. And when I left ABC, I kept thinking to myself, how do I bring this experiential component to small businesses, right? To really make an impact, to really make a difference. And that's when I started to realize that a lot of small businesses, while they were investing anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 a month in marketing efforts, very few of them had actually used customer experience as a way of growing their businesses. And that was really the way that I started Popcorn.
That's so cool. So I have a question for you. You talked about these marketing budgets, $3,000 to $10,000 a month, and we all know the stat out there. You say it beautifully. It's the 6 to 7. Help me out here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it takes 6 to 7 times more money, time, and resources to acquire a new client than to actually keep a loyal one on board. And the real problem with that is that most of our clients don't realize that. And when we tell them that, they go, "Oh my God, it's so true." I mean, I think we all know that it's like this game, this never-ending hunting game where we're chasing our own tails.
Right.
And at some point, if you stop playing the game, right? If you stop hunting and you start farming, soon enough, you actually start being able to cultivate and things start growing kind of on their own. And it's the same thing in the business world. So if you start cultivating your clients, really spending extra attention to them, sending them gifts, sending them personalized notes, making them feel like you're one and only, you know what? Like, come fall, it's a full harvest.
Right. So I wholeheartely agree, and certainly in the same camp as you. I'm not a farmer, though. But in terms of that customer-client experience, you and I were talking earlier about people just want to be paid attention to, and people just want to be recognized. And what I have found personally, what works in terms of coaching financial advisors is that wow or that surprise and delight, and it doesn't even have to be that off the charts. It's just that unexpected, the acknowledgement of a birthday, an anniversary, their son gets accepted to a college, and you and I both know you do that through social listening. But tell me about what your company does in terms of really deepening those relationships, making those relationships sticky with the clients.
Absolutely. And you and I absolutely see eye to eye on this. For us, I think it's a lot more about sending the gifts when they least expect it. So
Right.
a lot of people, when they hear what we do, they come up to me, they're like, oh, you must kill it Christmas time. Like, holidays must be your biggest season. I go, absolutely not. Like, if I could abolish the Christmas present, I would.
Right.
Because what ends up happening is that a lot of advisors think that that is the time to gift.
Right.
And they'll send everything out in December. Well, you know what? Like, your clients are on vacation in December. Right. They're with their families. They're certainly not in the office. A lot of that stuff ends up on a conference room table with interns, and it's really not the impression you want to be making. So a lot of what we do is...
and you can't cut through the noise.
And you can't cut through the
You're
noise.
not differentiating yourself. You're in a pile with the rest of the folks that are sending gifting to you at that holiday time when you're in the Swiss Alps.
Exactly. So instead, what our firm does is that we really sit down with our clients and we really understand who are your clients, right? So it's really a simple question, but it really matters a lot, right? So are you dealing with pre-retirees? Are you dealing with widows, divorcees, women professionals, male professionals? We have a client experience for each one of those, right? We design specific gifts for each one of those, and then we send them during the year as touch points to really strengthen the relationship. So if you're working with women, you should send them a little something in February where they get to show themselves a little bit of love. Or for Mother's Day in May if they happen to have a family. Or in September for back to school,
Oh, yeah.
So every single client base has different times throughout the year that you should be touching them. And, we're all very busy. So it's our job to kind of take that off the plate of the advisors and manage it for them.
That's awesome. So let's hypothetically say that I am a financial advisor and I've contacted your company. Take me through what that experience looks like. I have, a book of business. I've segmented my book. I've got my platinum, gold plus, gold, silver, bronze clients. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to work with you. I've picked up the phone, I've reached out. What does the experience look like?
Sure. So the whole idea is to take this off your shoulders, right?
Thank you.
That is our customer experience for our clients.
Right.
So they come to us, they're super excited, and here's what happens. It goes, right? Because their mind kind of explodes.
Like a popcorn kernel?
Like a popcorn kernel, because they're like, wait, but there's this person I should actually have gifted, and I forgot to, and then there's this, and then they get really overwhelmed. And so we always say start with 10.
Yep.
That's it. Like, don't overthink this. Start with 10. So we sit down with the advisors, and we start with 10 of their top clients that they know they want to retain because either there's generational opportunities where they can work with the kids at some point or with the grandmother or whatever. There's referral opportunities, or it's just a really great connection, honestly, like a genuine connection. And
they love working with them.
They love working with them, and they want more people just like that.
Sure.
So we pick 10 clients. We figure out what those little pools are, like we talked about before. So where do those 10 clients fall? Who are they? And then that's it. I manage everything else. So our firm then creates the gifting calendar that our clients have access to at all times.
Yep.
That says when things are going out and when. We ship things out. Our sales team is fully certified, so we actually call and make sure that it's been hand delivered to the right person. And here's the really cool part about this is that when we are on the phone with them, we ask them if everything was delivered. We also ask if there's anything we can do to make the experience even better.
Wow.
And what that does is not only give great attention to your client, it also gives you so much customer feedback and insights on what they'd like, how you're treating them, and how they'd like you to change it. And one firm that we worked with actually realized that the way they were attracting women needed to change and be tweaked, and it resulted in over $1 million investment for them by the end of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Just from those changes.
From the feedback.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So basically, you're doing all the heavy lifting, you're doing the legwork, and then you're just keeping the advisor, in this case me, apprised as to what's happening. Here's the gifting calendar, here's what's gone out.
Exactly.
So I've basically taken the capability of deepening those relationships, making them sticky, retaining those clients, and handed it over to you, and you and your team are off to the races.
Off to the races.
Wow. So we all know in the financial services industry, there is the $100 per client limit per year. my assumption, hate to assume anything, my assumption is that Popcorn Productions has the different types of gifts that could fulfill that. And we all know that, if a client gets a 6-cent gift, they feel like 6 cents.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more. That's why all our gifts are actually sourced from artisanal, USA-based small businesses.
Oh, nice.
And that really matters a lot to us because we really want to ensure quality while also giving back. So the idea is to always put the money back into small businesses. So that's really good. And then we also give a proceed to a different nonprofit every year, which is really important to us as well. But back to the advisors.
And your wonderful packaging.
And my wonderful packaging. So the advisors do have this $100 limit, but that doesn't mean that they have to be less creative with their gifts. We
Great
actually offer tons of solutions for advisors. We work with a lot of them, and we can actually do 2 gifts per client within that $100 ballpark. So it's not impossible. You just have to, it just takes time like everything else.
Yep.
And you have to know the right people, and that's really where we're best suited. We have the relationships with the vendors. We already know what's possible. So that's kind of like, the match made in heaven. But
yeah, so let's see this heaven in a box.
Let's see this. So all our packaging is customized. So the firm's names that we're working with will always be on the front or the sides.
Okay.
We like to put really kind of creative or fun graphics on the sides. Because you know what? Like, your client is getting this in the mail.
Right.
And they look at it and they're like, ooh, what is this? Like, it already gets them excited, you know? It's like, oh my God, like, that's different. That's fun, right?
It's me mail.
Right, exactly. And everything we do is always experience-based, okay? So it's not about just putting random stuff with your logo in a box. It's about reminding them why they decided to do business with you to begin with. And that all started with an experience because you were able to touch them in a way that no other advisor could.
Right.
And you need to remind them of that as often as possible. But you need to remind them of that. And the more you do, the more the relationship deepens.
Exactly.
So I brought some little goodies here just to give an example of some of the stuff.
Sure.
So we always put tissue paper, and normally there's a really nice card here with the firm's logo, and we always insert their signature, so it's personally signed.
So basically, if I'm working with you, I'm an advisor, I send you my signature.
You send me your signature,
Yep.
I keep it on file, and I'm able to put it on the cards.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's organized. So let's say, I'll give you my tissue paper. Let's say that you are going to send this to a working mom who has kids, but is obviously very interested also in her career and her profession.
Sure, of course.
So we would start with this little kit. It's a little Grow With Me kit. It has a little pail with seed paper, and it grows a flower right on your desk.
Oh, cute.
It's very sweet.
Very sweet.
So we would probably pair this with a nice little cookie kit. So these can be fully customized. There's enough ingredients in here, all organic, that make 24 cookies. All you have to add is an egg. And
you don't send the egg?
Yeah, right. And you can actually change the candy colors depending on the logo or the firm's brand colors. We put their logo on top. It's a really nice piece.
Can you tell me about your success story of the advisor that his colors was it black and white?
Yeah, black and white. And so we totally changed. We worked with the vendor to change the recipe, and so we did a cocoa powder base on the bottom, black sugar, white flour, and then black M&Ms. It was very classy.
That is very cool.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she's a working professional, right? So she's got her little grow kit. She's got something to do with the kids. You got to do something for her too. So these are sweet. These are little emergency kits.
Oh, cute.
And they have 17 daily essentials for whatever you need. So went out to lunch. I have a stain on my blouse. There's a stain remover. I have a migraine because my boss is being a pain. There's an Advil in here. Deodorant. You have a blister. Anything. There's 17 different essentials in there.
That's sweet.
And then, of course, you can't forget the E-Squared book.
Yeah, forget the
that I just love.
Yeah,
this is my little Bible, honestly. It's so empowering, and it's all about how your thoughts impact reality. So you send this to a woman, this little thing, you know what? It's only half of your budget, and it's incredibly original. Your logo is at least on 2 of these items, not to mention the card. It's thoughtful. she's going to remember you.
And this stays on her desk, so
Stays
she
on her
remembers
desk.
you.
So she remembers you.
This stays in her purse.
And so this stays in her purse. This she does with her kids. It's a fun experience.
That's exactly right.
So this is the perfect little package for a working mom professional.
Yep.
And of course, like I said, like everything is always customized. So if we end up working with men, or if ever we're working with widows or divorcees, then obviously the products change. We are absolutely a anti-catalog company, and the idea is everyone's different and everyone wants something different.
Sure.
So you can't go cookie cutter approach with them. So yeah, everything is made custom just for them.
And it's all personalized.
And it's all personalized.
It's all personalized, and your logo appears wherever you can incorporate the logo, like on the top of this jar.
Exactly.
It would be your logo.
In the kit as well, it's on the pail, so it sits on her desk. She looks over at it. She thinks of you.
Yeah. Very cute. Very cute.
Our firm calls to make sure that everything was received okay, and now she's like, oh my God, my advisor listened to me, sent me something thoughtful in the mail, followed up to make sure I was happy. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to work with anybody else. That's it.
That's right. So, Deborah, I have a lot of advisors that do events. They go to networking events. They host client events. They do prospecting events. All of them seem to do it a little bit differently. At the end of it, most of them want some kind of takeaway or some kind of follow-up. We all know the handwritten note is phenomenal. However, I know that your networking events have been dubbed as parties. And I would love for you to share your success around networking events and or events in general, since you're the party girl, and what the do's and don'ts, and what can make it memorable for advisors.
Absolutely. Thank you. For us, events, when we first started our company, we started our own networking events, which I'm sure that's what you're referring to. And they were so much fun, and they were really, really successful. And I think it's because we weren't looking at what the competition was doing. We just kind of did what we thought needed to get done.
Sure.
And so we hosted them in a very different way. When it comes to advisors, I highly, highly, highly suggest the same thing. I've been to so many of those events, and I've coached a lot of advisors who do those kinds of events, and it's classic, right? It's, they're using lingo that maybe makes the guests feel a little bit uncomfortable because maybe they don't know what a diversified portfolio is, right? Or it's a little stagnant, right? Because everyone's sitting and you've invited them to dinner and you're prospecting them, and it's a little kind of awkward, and you gotta break the mold. So one of the things that we would do at our networking events is we would actually break our audience into 3 different groups, which was great because they were smaller, and smaller groups are easier to engage with.
That's right.
Each group would actually do something different in each room, and they would each rotate within 30 to 45 minutes.
Got it.
When I work with advisors, depending on what kind of events they're doing, I really, really encourage that they either do their own events or do a lot of networking, because it's the foundations of the sales, right?
Yep.
So always when you want to sell something, people have to know, like, and trust you.
Right.
There's nothing that accelerates that more than this, right?
Yeah.
Me sitting in front of you, and
eyeball to eyeball.
Eyeball to eyeball. Like, LinkedIn is so fabulous for that, because you can connect to so many people, and then you can take it offline into the real world.
That's right. Right. Yeah, the online opens the doors, the offline closes them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so one of my biggest advice for the advisors who are doing a lot of these is, don't do what your competitors have done. Actually, if you've been told to network in a certain way, I actually encourage you to do the exact opposite. Differentiate. Don't give your card unless someone asks for it. Never start a conversation with, what do you do? Ask them instead about sports or what they're doing in their business.
Right.
Always make the conversation 100% about them and 0% about you, because the more they like you, the more they trust you as a person, the more then when you tell them that you can help them with their finances, the more they think, oh, maybe he actually can.
Yeah. It's the 80-20 rule. So do 80% of the listening, 20% of the talking, and actively listen to that individual, so then you can pick up and hear what they're saying, and then be memorable accordingly through Memorable gifts.
And, one of the things that I've always found that is very memorable that unfortunately is one of the things that it goes way by the wayside is follow through. I can't tell you, I've done so much networking since my years of starting this business. I have a fantastic Rolodex. I can't complain, knock on wood.
Right.
But I can probably count on two hands the amount of times someone has actually reached out to me versus me reaching out to someone else.
Wow.
And it's because when you do this whole card exchange, which is great because it's tactile and you have the person's card, it goes in a desk, it goes in your wallet, it goes somewhere, you can't find it, you find it in your coat pocket 6 months later, it's this very disorganized process. So, very simply what I do is I have this little box that I carry with me in my purse, and I keep people's business cards in them, and they only get transferred out of the box once they get inserted into a CRM system. It's the only way. So follow through is so important. Having that process around follow through and showing your clients I'm not all talk, I'm action too is really important.
So in terms of when I coach advisors, the action around that is if you can find out who's going to be at the event ahead of time, research them.
Yes.
People share so much online today. It used to take advisors 5 to 10 years to gather the intel that people share on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth. Do your homework, right? So you can have a further advanced conversation when you're at these events, number one. Number two is as soon as you get home or even at the event or whatever the case may be, connect with them on LinkedIn. You can personalize the request on a mobile device.
And you should.
Oh, we should, yeah. But like if I met you and you're like, oh yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, I would just hand you my phone and you'd hit the connect, and obviously it wouldn't be personalized. But yes, I always coach personalize the invitation because it at the end of the day, it's a noisy world. You've got to cut through that noise. You've got to differentiate yourself. And then layering on top of that, I think the handwritten note is fantastic. However, my assumption is based on your firm, your company, that something in the mail just takes it to the whole next level. If you were like, oh my God, I'm a champagne drinker. I'm like, here we go. Pink pop rose, it's coming at you. Like if you got this from me, if you said, if we were at the event, right? And I was like, oh, can I get you a glass of wine? You're like, nope, I'm a champagne girl. I only drink champagne. I'm making a mental note of that. And I follow up with this, like, how far down the continuum does that relationship go?
Right. And that's a great segue because actually we do create much smaller gifts that advisors can mail out to or can give out at events for event attendees. So we actually package them normally in these little drawstring bags.
Cute.
And we can personalize them with the firm's logo, or I can just say thank you on them.
Sure.
And then we personalize them for experience, of course, right?
Of course, it's all about experience.
If the experience is, an adventure kit, then that's what it is. So I'll give you a great example. We had an insurance firm that came to us, and they were doing an event in the summer, and they said, we want to give something to our attendees because our attendees go to these things all the time, and we really want them to remember us. And I was like, insurance? What can we do with insurance? I was like, it's about risk, right? It's about limiting risk.
Yep.
That's all insurance is ever about.
That's right.
So I was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a risk-free summer kit. And it had full of sunscreen in there and little floaties from when you swim and mosquito spray and all this stuff that was about limiting risk during their summer experience.
That is awesome.
So you can have a lot of fun with it. And it was all within the compliance budget.
Even better.
Even better.
Even better. So Deborah, let's say I'm a new advisor, I'm just starting out, maybe I don't have 10 clients, or I'm an advisor and I don't really have a large budget, I might have blown through my budget. Can you explain to me the different programs that Popcorn Production offers?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. We often run across young advisors who understand that this is important, right? I mean, like, this is stuff your mom has taught you. It's please and thank you. So they understand that it's important.
That's right.
And it's not within their bandwidth, which is normal. Like, advisors are incredibly busy. They're always on the chase. They always are looking. They're always prospecting. They're crunched for time. They have a lot of pressure on them. They don't have time to go after a cookie kit, So what we do is we offer two very different programs for advisors. For advisors that are starting out or maybe have a limited budget, they can do it on-demand gifting. And really, it's as simple as going to our website, subscribing your client Think of it as a subscription box for your brand that you subscribe your client.
Okay.
We create the gift for your client and we send it out. We send out 2 gifts per client that you subscribe. It's pretty simple. And we manage all of it, and you still get the card, which is really, really nice with your signature. So there's still the whole personal touch in there. Then for what we were talking about before, who you do have 10 clients or more and you understand that this is really important for the growth of your firm or for your group, you come to us and we do concierge gifting. And that's really the full package, right? It's like the limousine service, if you will. So we do not only full custom designs for your clients in terms of gifts, but we'll also call clients to confirm addresses. We'll follow up via phone to make sure that everything has been arrived on time and can the experience be changed in any way. And we also offer, if it's local, a messenger, a hand delivery messenger service. So it really is kind of like the Rolls-Royce service. And honestly, that's what I think you need to do today to really stand out and make sure customers know just how important they are to you, because unfortunately your competition is saying the exact same thing you are every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're doing exactly what you said earlier is I'm gifting starting, around Thanksgiving. So I know some advisors will do the Thanksgiving, which is great, which helps them stand out a little bit more, but majority of them are doing it around the holidays. And like you said, those clients are really not around.
And they tend to send the same thing to every client when, what we found in through our experience is that men and women, when it comes to gifting, is very, very different. Men, it's all about the bare essentials, like things that they need day to day to stay happy. That's really what they like. It's kind of primal, but that's men, Women, on the other hand, it has to be practical and pretty. That's the 2 P's. If it's not practical and pretty, I don't want it in my life. So if you're sending me a cutting board or a mug or whatever, and I don't have space for it in my life, and it's not pretty and it's not making my life any easier, it's not touching me. That's right. It's not going to be an experience that hits home run.
That's right. So the bottom line, it's all about experience, and what Popcorn Productions does is it enables advisors to really stand out, to really bring a full client experience to their clients and their prospects, because I'm assuming that you're working with advisors that are working with prospects too.
Absolutely.
To win that business, right?
Yeah.
This will help shorten that sales cycle.
Exactly. And that's why, one of our last services, but it's ROI gifting, and that's when we actually ship mini gifts like we showed before in the drawstring bags. We ship those anywhere 6 times every 2 weeks, for example, or more. And that gives them a giveaway so that when they are meeting with prospects, they can give them a little something that doesn't cost very much. It's about $20 a gift. Doesn't cost very much in terms of customer acquisition, but definitely makes a lasting impression because no one else is doing that when they're meeting with them. Got
it. So what you'll do is you'll ship that to me. I have it on hand. I'm going out to lunch with a prospect. I grab it. It's fully branded. I'm out the door, and now it's something that I can give to that prospect. Or if I want to take that on myself, I can drop that in the mail. Post lunch meeting.
Because no one wants a folder after meeting with you, and I get those all the time. Like I meet with advisors, and the first thing they do is they pull out their little folder that their marketing department gave them, and it's full of paper and stuff that I'm just never. I mean, like, not to be rude, but I'm never gonna read it. Right? I don't have the time. I don't have the bandwidth. It's not adding anything to my life experience. So I kept thinking to myself, how can we change this experience for advisors? What can we give them that will give a touch point? And on a closing note, I read this statistic that actually 85% of people who receive a promotional gift from an advertiser actually does business with them. So I was thinking, what can we do that is going to sit on that person's desk and is going to remind them that, hey, when I have insurance issues, when I have financial issues, when my kids have to go to college, when I have to plan for retirement, boom, I'm thinking of them.
That's right. That's awesome. Thank you so much for what you do and helping advisors and small businesses, and even me included, differentiate and really stand out. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
If you'd like to find out more great information about Popcorn Productions and all that they can do for you and your business, go to popcornprod.com or Let's Pop to It. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, swing by LauraVirili.com, follow me on Twitter, and like me on Facebook. Thanks for joining.
That was very QVC.
It was so QVC-esque.